Hello, 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 hello. Thank you for joining me. This is LaserBeam Live, episode number 27. You know the deal. My name is Ikenna for CNC Labs. And whether you're joining us in the morning, afternoon, evening, or night, I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. You know the deal. This is going to be a part two of the last stream, LaserBeam Live number 26, where we went over whitespace, fast whitespace, and we were trying to use the print and cut feature in LightBurn. Such a great idea. You do a job, whether it's an engraving, and then now you want to cut it, but you've moved it, or any type of job where you've done something, you want to keep the design, you want to keep the location, but you move the part. You can use this feature to set things, realign things, and do the second part of your job, whether it's a cut, engraving, or anything like that. Such a useful tool, but we weren't able to use it. LightBurn was being very tricky with us, and today it seems to be doing a lot better, so we shouldn't run into those same issues. But now I'm having new issues with the feature itself and trying to set that up. So let's say hello to the chat. Doug was here 40 minutes ago. Dana here always. Nicholas, what's up? Dieter, how you doing? Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you. And let's just jump right into it because I have been testing this thing all evening and I've gotten it to work once and I don't know why. So maybe some of you guys can give me a hand and hopefully by the end of the stream, we'll have something working. And worst case, we'll come back to it again in the next live stream. And next live stream, we'll actually have an MK2 with limit switches. So that should make things a little bit easier when the machine itself and the software knows its location and can always home things. That should make things easier. Doesn't mean we shouldn't be able to figure it out without limit switches. I just know it'll be a little bit easier to kind of troubleshoot the issues I'm having with limit switches. But right now, we're gonna try to figure it out. Eric, thank you for joining us. Today we're using a tool called the print and cut tool in LightBurn. Bill, how you doing? Hans, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. Your first time. welcome to the LaserBeam Live. Get to know people in the chat. Ask any questions you have while we go through a little bit of a tutorial today. Okay, awesome. So, as you can see, I was already testing the the print and cut tool a few times, and I think out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tests, I got it to work once, and I don't know exactly what I did to get it to work. So why don't we just run through what I think works, and then we'll go from there. Okay? So, sorry, some of the stuff, some of the camera's a little bit off today just because we had to use the webcam last time. So you guys might not have the best angle of the job being done, but I want to provide it for you guys just so you guys can take a look and have a little bit of, imagery there. But, so essentially what I've been doing is I run the test file. When it finishes, I then run the print and cut function, which is up here, laser tools, print and cut. I start the wizard. I zero everything via the console. So because I was using user interface, that is taking what I set as the origin. So, if I move the laser somewhere and I click set origin, that's where it's gonna wanna start the job from. And that's how I do the first pass of the engraving. After that, the print and cut wizard essentially, oh, Sandra, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. Thanks for buying the laser, and hopefully you get to learn a little bit of something. But if you're really into like the intro side of the laser, definitely check out our previous live streams just on our YouTube channel. Hit the live tab. You have all 26. Today's episode number 27. So you have all 26. And then also while we're doing the project, you can feel free to ask questions. That is very much encouraged. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna change the webcam angle so you guys can actually see. I'm no longer using the webcam tool in LightBurn, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try to give you guys a much better view here. Bear with me. How's that? A little bit better? Definitely better than it was. All right. So now you guys can actually see what's happening there. So why don't I just stop talking? I could take you guys through the workflow. And I know some of you laser demons out there like Dana are gonna give me some tips. So Hans, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Hans, Sandra, just so you know, I know a lot about LightBurn. I designed the laser itself. I'm very excited. If you reach out to me via the website for laser customer service, you're definitely talking to me, and I'm gonna help you with any of your issues. But on this live stream, it is not about knowing the most, because I definitely do not know the most. There are people out there, people in this chat that know more than me. It's all about having a collaborative kind of space where we can try new things, we can play with things, we can fail, because I've definitely failed a few times, and we can kind of all come together, and hopefully you guys learn a little bit more, you guys get direct access to ask questions, and hopefully I learn a little bit more, which in turn helps me be better with our technical support and our customer service for the laser itself. So just wanted to put that out there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reset the tool because I was just midway through using it. So I'm resetting the tool. And what I actually did, just so you guys can see the setup, is all I did was type out test as a test. I put it in the bottom corner because my origin point is usually the bottom left corner. And then I made a box, right? So I just grabbed a box like this. I made it 0.5 millimeters by 0.5 millimeters. And then I dragged it to snap to one of the corners, right? So in order to use this tool, you need two boxes. You don't actually want the box to be engravable. So for me, I just use T1 or T2. These are tools. They don't actually fire. So you can, anything that is in the color or the layer selection at T1 and T2 will never fire. Okay, you can use it to frame things. You can use it for tools like this. So that's all I did. That's why this square is at this corner. And in order for the cut and print tool to work properly, you want to do opposite corners. So there's one down here, and then my other one is up here. Same thing, 0.5 millimeter squared box, and then I dragged it to snap into the corner. If you guys don't know how to just drag it to snap, just grab your cursor tool, select, and then once this this multi-arrow tool appears, you drag there. So now, because I dragged it from the center, this center dot and this multi-arrow tool, it's gonna snap to the center. So wherever I drag that to, it's gonna wanna snap to the center of that box like that, right? I could drag to the top center, like, whoop. So just keep that in mind. So let's say I wanted to snap to the corner. Sorry, one sec. So, yeah, so let's move on because I don't actually know how to snap to corners. I only know how to snap to the center line. But you can always move stuff. So if I was gonna snap to the end, I would drag to the center, and then I would just offset this by 0.5 millimeter. So, you know, in the X position, I would go 8. Oh, opposite direction. So if that's 3, then I would just subtract 0.5 millimeter from here. But there's multiple ways. And if you guys know a better way, definitely share it. But I only end up dragging to centers because that's usually the easiest way. But that's definitely what we need for this feature. So let's move on. So I have my indicator squares, and I have the file itself. Okay. So I'm in console, or I'm in move. I'm setting it to user origin, and I'm setting my origin point to where I want my project to start, right? So obviously, always wear your safety glasses. I have already checked my focus using the focus height finder here. You get it in every LaserBeam, one for every lens. Then I just fired it. I am on dip switch 1. I fired it on 0.25% in LightBurn, or you can go 1% in G-Sender. Kenny, how you doing? Thanks for dropping by. We appreciate you. So yeah, I usually fire things at 1/4% at dip switch 1 if I don't want it to mark my material. So right now that's where it's at. It's still high enough, like 100% of dip switch 1 will still mark up my material, but 0.25% of dip switch 1 will not mark my material. So that's what I'm using to jog and to kind of line in the corner pieces right here. So I'm gonna run this job like a regular job. So oh, if your laser died, send in a ticket. We'll figure something out. So let me just fire the test. Oh, there's a pop-up somewhere. Ah, here it is. So there we go. Oh, that's too bad. What diode were you using in your DIY laser? So as you can see, it's currently running the project. And now once it's finished, we're gonna set our markings to down here. We're gonna jog the machine here, and we're gonna tell it that it's right here. And then we're gonna jog the machine here, and we're gonna tell it that it's right here. And then we should be able to return to the exact spot. It's a 4.5 watt. Were you using it on its own dedicated machine, or were you using it on the long mill? So guys, if you do want a more in-depth tutorial, definitely watch our last video. We actually watched the LightBurn tutorials to get like the basics. So if you're a bit confused here, you can type in LightBurn print and cut feature, and you can pop up the text on how to use it. That should keep you kind of up to date on what we're actually working on right now. Or later after this stream, you can check out the previous live stream, and you can watch us fiddle around. We weren't able to use the tool, but we definitely went through the features of the tool in more detail on why you would want to use it or what the tool actually is. So as you can see, it's just finishing up. It's just some text that says test, just like you see here in LightBurn. And like I said before, because I set the tool, like the layer function to tool, it won't actually engrave these small little boxes here. That's just for reference for us and for the LightBurn tool itself. Okay, so it's finishing up now, and then it went back to our origin point. So in console, so once I use the tool, it's gonna switch over to absolute coordinate, and it's gonna want like the absolute coordinates, which is why you wanna use dip switches, limit switches, which will help you with that absolute coordinate. There's no way around it. The print and cut tool is gonna want to move over to absolute coordinates as soon as we set our points. So Dana actually recommended I do this last stream, but I couldn't understand, like in the heat of the moment, I didn't actually know what he was referring to. So it's essentially manually setting your coordinates to 0, 0. So now that our laser has returned to its home point, like we used user origin, it's returned to the user origin. I want to manually set my origin point in absolute coordinates by telling the long mill via the EEPROM settings that right now, where we're at right now is 0, 0. So that when the tool switches over to absolute coordinates, it's not confused on where 0, 0 is. It doesn't think it's at the other end of my machine or the bottom left side of my machine. It thinks it's exactly where my user origin or my project origin is. So that's what I'm attempting to do. Hopefully this works. Like I said before, I've tried a few ways and it hasn't seemed to work. I had it working 1 set of 5 times. I'm not sure what I did differently. So hopefully we're able to figure it out even if we fail a few times. And if not, then we'll run it again next time with the limit switches, and hopefully the machine knowing exactly where it is and LightBurn knowing exactly where the machine is should help us with this feature. So now that I put the origin point 0, 0, I manually did that in console. I'm going to laser tools. I'm going to print and cut, and I'm going to start the wizard. So what I'm going to do is select this first point, and then I'm going to fire my machine. Again, I'm on dip switch 1 at 0.25% power, so it won't mark up my material. Guys, if you guys are running this and it's on dip switch 5, even at 0.25%, it'll still mark your material. So make sure that if you're running your main project at a higher dip switch, then just switch back to 1 anytime you need to locate the dot for this feature. So me, I'm at dip switch 1, 0.25%, so I can fire it with knowing that it's not going to mark my material, because I need to be able to tell it that the laser is right here in this corner where this box is. So I'm going to manually move it. So I'm just checking, I'm just visually lining it up to the bottom left corner of the T. And then once I'm there, I'm going to click on the tool and tell it that that is exactly where it is. So I think I'm lined up pretty well. So I'm gonna click on set first target point. So I selected the box, I moved the laser where it is, where the box is on my design, and then now I'm selecting set first point. You see that it turned into a circle. And now I need to do the same thing for my second point. So I'm gonna select my second point. I'm going to move my laser to where my second point is. So I'm gonna lower the distance so I can dial it in. And I'm just gonna visually get as close as I can. All right, so I think I'm in a good position. And then I'm selecting set second target position. All right, and you'll see that it's now a blue circle. So the software should know where we are. I'm gonna turn off the fire button. And then we should be able to click on align outputs, no scaling, right? Because we didn't scale our project, we didn't scale anything. We should be able to align outputs, no scaling. So I'm gonna click on that. So as you can see, it now says absolute coordinates. We were in user origin, but now we're absolute coordinates. And now we're at, you know that at least the tool worked when it says print and cut unscaled right next to ready, right above your start, stop, pause function. And now it says print and cut unscaled. That wasn't there before. And then it automatically set absolute coordinates for us. So hopefully this works. It wasn't working before, but hopefully this works. So I should be able to click start, should return back to 0, 0, and it should do the exact project over perfectly. There shouldn't be any, it shouldn't be Jack in the shop. Thanks for joining us. Don't worry about being late. You are, you're a legend here, so you take your time. And we should be able to just click start. It should know exactly where it is, and it should do the exact project over. So right, let's say our first job was an engraving and our second job was a cut, right? Then it should be all good. We should have the exact, the line work ready. So let's click on start and let's see what happens. Oh, and that is exactly what we wanted. So it is working perfectly because as you can see, it's engraving right over the original test file. And it started from the opposite end, so you know that it's intelligently doing this. It's not doing this just by, oh yeah, going back to origin and just restarting the project. It knows exactly where everything is. And now that we know, yes, we also hope that everybody's raking in the cash with their long mill and their LaserBeam and their Vortex and G-Sender. We love that you guys are using your machines to run a business, make money, empower yourselves. That's always the best case scenario when you're buying a machine like this, is you get the personal benefit of it, loving your machine, and you also get the monetary, if that's what you want. We just want you guys to feel fulfilled in with your purchase. Feel like you got everything that you wanted out of their purchase. Koala, I feel like it's been a while since we've seen you in the chat. How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're enjoying this nice, cool fall weather in Ontario. That's always good. Rather you be busy than be doing nothing. So as you can see, yeah, we ran the project perfectly. The true test, and we will be testing this after, the true test is if we go through this exact workflow, but before running the print and cut like wizard, we move our piece, right? So this is the true benefit of this feature is like, let's say, you finished an engraving one layer and then you sneezed before the cut file, you move the material, or let's say there was a power outage, you don't know, and something moved, you want to be able to come back to it and line everything up perfectly without actually having to try. So as you can see, it engraved over the original text. There was no overlap. It knew exactly where to go and where to be. So let's see if we can do it again with even like more, like let's test it. Let's really test the feature because we didn't touch this. We didn't move it. So obviously we're going to be able to run the project again. It's going to be in the same spot. As long as we didn't move it, we didn't change anything in the code, it should run over. The true test is going to be to run this feature and then we move it, right? So let's get started. Let's do it. I'm excited. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the print and cut tool. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to user origin. I'm going to move my long mill to a new spot. Going to fire my laser just to make sure I know where I am. All right. So I'm going to set this new point as the origin point. So I'm going to set origin. And then I should be able to start this test again, and it's going to run in the new spot. Perfect. And once this finishes, I'm going to move my material before I run the actual print and cut wizard. And that's how we'll truly know if this feature is going to work for us, or if we need to do more digging and more trial and error to get it to work perfectly. So it's going to finish its job. It's going to return home. I'm going to manually reset the zeros. I'm going to move the object, and then I'm going to jog it to its 2 points, and then I'm going to let it run. And that's going to be the true test of if this feature is really working for me or if I have to kind of dial it in. Thank you, Dana. I have faith as well, okay? We're already off to a good start, so hopefully we can finish strong with a new cracked feature that we can all use and we can all get good at using and we can all enjoy the benefits of it. So guys, as you know, I will be going to the LightBurn experience, the LightBurn convention at the end of October. So hopefully we'll have a chance to actually speak to the founders and the software engineers and the people who work at LightBurn and find out more about it, learn more about it, and build a stronger bridge between us, LightBurn, and G-Sender and Longmill and CNC Labs as a whole, right? In a perfect world, we would design and everything, but then we'd have almost like a G-Sender widget in order to send the code, right? That's my perfect world. So guys, it kept the old origin point, which was 0, 0. So now I kind of want to run it again. I want to set the origin, the new origin point at our new user origin, just to avoid any like funny stuff happening. What do you guys think? Should I try it? Because right now it's like misaligned. It went back to 0, 0 at the end of the job rather than going to the user origin. So if I set 0, 0 now, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. Let's see if I can go to origin. Ah. You know what? Let's just see what happens. Move it to a new spot first. Yeah, I feel like I should. Why waste the time? It's a very quick. Okay, what do you guys want me to do? We got two people saying do it, one person saying move to a new spot. What does do it mean? Does do it mean try it in its current orientation, even though I feel like the difference in the zeros is going to mess things up? Or should I move it to a new spot and start all over again with the new origin point? Origin point and user origin will be in the same place before we try all this funny stuff. What do you think I should do? You guys tell me. Try it where it is. Okay, Sandra was first, so I'm going with that. Sorry, or Hans was first. Sandra said try it where it is first, then Hans came in with new spot sounds better, then move to new locale. Okay, we're gonna try it first because, you know, who cares? If we mess it up, we still got about 30 minutes, so we'll have time to try it again in the proper kind of order of things. So, you know what? We'll go. Sandra, you typed faster than everybody else, so we're doing it your way. Okay, so laser tool. Start wizard. So first of all, I'm moving my material. So I'm moving my material now. Then I am selecting this. Then I am turning on my test fire so that I can jog this to the physical location that it is at, which is the bottom corner of the T. All right, I feel like I'm pretty close. All right, calling that it. And then I'm gonna set first target point. See the circle? All right. Now we go to the second point, and I'm gonna select that. And I'm going to move this to the second point. And then I'm just gonna dial it in, try to get it as close as I can. All right, I feel like I'm pretty close. And I'm gonna set second target point. You see the blue circle? Okay, so LightBurn should know exactly where everything is, even though I moved my material. So I'm gonna turn off the fire. I'm gonna align output to no scaling. We've switched to absolute coordinates, and I'm gonna press start. All right, and I'm gonna press start. Oh, sorry, we got another pop-up. So we moved to the correct place. We moved to our user origin, but it's not firing. I'm going to try to click start again. So the magic is I moved my material and the software is doing all the magic, taking 2 points and essentially realigning your code, realigning the movements to fit the new orientation or the new position of your material. So if when I didn't move the material, that's not really magic. That's just like going back to your origin point and starting the project again. The real test, which is what we're trying to do here, was moving our material and running it again, just with those 2 points. It knows exactly where things are, and obviously LightBurn likes to optimize their things, so the likelihood that everything lines up perfectly is very high with them. So Koala says you could potentially add design specifically to a point. Yeah, like you could, run an engraving. Let's say you don't have time, you turn off your machine, you come back, you realign it, and then you do the cut file, and it aligns perfectly. And you don't have to have the material in the same place. You can move that material. So that's kind of where the magic happens. But it's not working right now, at least. It didn't work for us right now. So let's start in a new position. Let's see if we can start in a new position, and we'll just start all over again. Oh, got some pop-ups. All right, so we're gonna reset the print and cut tool. I'm gonna fire the laser just so I know where I'm starting. Okay. I think I can save some material here. Start a little bit. All right, so that's gonna be my starting point. So I'm going to user origin. I am setting origin right there. That is my start point. And then I'm gonna run the job normally. And you can see it running there. Now, let's figure out the order of which we're gonna do stuff when this is done. It's gonna go back to the user origin. We are going to manually set that point as 0, 0. Actually, it might still think that the other point is 0, 0. I should have reset the origin point. I should have reset 0, 0 before running this. Reset 0, 0, start the project with user origin, move the material. Yeah. See, guys, I'm not a wizard. I just am down to try things over and over again until it works. So we might have to restart that, because when it wants to go back to, it's going to want to go to 0, 0. It's not going to want to go back to user origin. It's going to want to go to the other point that we set. And so hopefully, we'll see what happens. It's either going to want to go to user origin or back to 0, 0, which is at a different point. I did set origin, but I don't know if it's going back to origin or like the 0, 0 coordinates, which like I set manually at like a different point. Or maybe because I only move my material, now 0, 0 and origin are in the same place. Because I didn't reset the new 0, 0, I just moved my material. Actually, no, I did move the laser itself, so we'll see. Hopefully it goes to user origin. I can manually set the 0. I can move my material, then use the tool. Ah, see, I was right. I don't even know where it was going. Can I even go to origin? Yes, I can. Yeah, it's so lost right now. This is why you want limit switches, because this thing is lost. It does not know where it is at all. All right, bear with me, guys. All right, this is our new start point. I am manually setting the 0 point using G92 space X0 space Y0. Okay? Manually setting the 0 point. Boom. Now I'm going to the Move tab, and I'm also setting the origin point at the same place. Origin is set. Now I'm going to start this project, and it's doing its first pass. It's going to do the test file again. Now when it finishes, 0, 0, 0, 0 should be the user origin point. And just for safety, I'm going to set the 0, 0. I'm going to manually set 0, 0 again afterwards. Then I'm going to move the material. Then I'm going to line everything up. Then I'm going to do the print and cut redo. And if it goes to the same place, if it engraves over the same file, then we have success. If not, then I have more troubleshooting to do. I'm replacing my MK1 with an MK2 with limit switches. I was going to do that regardless because we're shooting new media for the laser. So I will be replacing this, but we'll just have to try again next week. We can troubleshoot for another little bit. We'll have time after this, so we can still keep trying until for another 20, 25 minutes. No problem at all. So hopefully we can figure it out in the time, but if not, then we'll figure it out in the next live stream. Eric is right. Sometimes you just have to reboot. Reset, reboot, recollect. Okay, the 3 R's. It's such a cool feature. I really want to figure out how to make this work because I feel like I'll have a blast with it once I get real comfortable with it. Okay, we're back at 0, 0, our point. Everything seems good. So now I'm going to move my material. Okay, material has been moved. We are going to now start the print and cut, start the wizard. We're going to select our first point. We're going to test fire the laser, and then we're going to move it to where we think that is on our actual material. And we're going to line it up the best that we can. Oh, what happened here? Oh no. I could not see the screen. Oh yeah, guys, no matter how much learning you do, you can always mess things up. And I think I just did by exiting the tool. But I couldn't see the screen, and I don't know why it exited. So, let's just try it. Let's just keep going. Had our thing selected, we test fire laser, and we manually line it up. All right. Set the first point. Select the second point, and then we jog to the other where it is. Yeah, Eric, you're so right. I feel like once you have a project that you're very comfortable with, you could do it over and over again with your like eyes closed, like it's like dialed into your head. But then once you try something new, use a new feature, it takes you have to reset and like go back into learning mode. All right. Let's see what happens. Oh my God, I think we did it. Guys, we are lined up. We moved our material and we are lined up. Guys, we did it. Let's go. All right, we're gonna do it one more time. One more time with a deeper understanding of what exactly we're doing so that we know for sure that it worked and that we can repeat this exact workflow. Okay? We're gonna do it one more time. But I'm so excited. Guys, we moved our material and everything worked out. That is exactly what we wanted. We reset our coordinates to 0 manually in the console. We clicked on user origin. We reset our user origin to the same point. We selected our start from user origin. We started the project. It engraved the first test. After that, we moved our material. Yep, because the machine knew where it was. Even though we moved our material, the print and cut tool compensated for that move by knowing exactly where those 2 points are and optimizing the movement to line exactly back up with our project. And you can tell because there's no like shifting of the engraving. You don't see it like overlap the original design. It's only like filling exactly where it filled before, which means we dialed it in. But the real test is to see if we can do it again. Let's move the material again. Let's move our start point. I think I'm learning to tell the machine where it is at the right, like when I need to, so that it actually functions well. All right, awesome. Let's do a repeat. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna definitely try to bring back as much information as I can. I'm actually very excited to go. It's like my first adult, legit business trip, so I'm very excited to go. I'm glad Sensi Labs was able to send me. So, okay, guys, it's one thing to do things once, okay? It could be just dumb luck. But can we do it again? And just so you guys see, we moved our material, but our test stayed pretty aligned. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Like I feel if I made this larger and I was able to really line things up to the corner as best as I could, then I could get it even more aligned. But for me, this is like good enough. Obviously, the bigger the project, the more time you spend like dialing in where you're actually setting these points, like manually, the better the results are gonna be. But I'm actually pretty happy with this. So again, I move my material and we're gonna set our new point. So I'm gonna turn on the fire button and let's find it a new start place. All right, so that's gonna be our new start. Turn off the laser. I'm gonna go to console. I'm gonna manually set our 0, 0 coordinates the with the uh, with the tool or the code, the G code, G92 space X0 space Y0. So that's our 0, 0 coordinate. And I'm gonna enter. Then I'm going to set origin. So click on set origin. Then I'm gonna let it run first time. And then after it runs, we're gonna move our material, but we're gonna use the tool to set our 2 points, and hopefully it realigns just like it did before. And that is how you use LightBurn's print and cut tool. Next week, we will do some timed testing on the Fast Whitespace tool. So it'll be part 3 of this. So in last live stream, we explained what the Fast Test tool or Fast Whitespace tool is. I showed you on LightBurn how to change those settings. We talked about the print and cut tool. We tried to use it, didn't work last stream. This stream, we spent the entire hour working on the print and cut tool. No, but LightBurn does. I think now I just understand what the instructions are. So guys, I'm actually gonna rerun that project. Actually, because half of it came out very light, but half of it came out very dark. I imagine it's just like the texture changes of the actual material. But I don't know if I'm gonna get the best output if I can't really see the points like very dark. And that's because I have it on dip switch 1. So obviously I can make it darker. But I think I'm just gonna let it run again. So it came back home. I think I'm just gonna run it again just so the lines are super dark so I can really tell if when I'm setting my points. So I'm just gonna let it run again. Guys, you don't have to run your projects on dip switch 1. You can run them on dip switch 5. Just know that when you're lining things up, you're gonna wanna go back to dip switch 1 and go as low for the power as possible. I go 0.25% in LightBurn at dip switch 1. So you will have to switch when you're lining things up, or as you're moving the test fire laser, it will be marking up your material. And guys, I would probably use a bigger project than this because I was able to line things up pretty good, but it's not perfect. And that's because it's harder to see where the corner is on a smaller project. On a bigger project, it's gonna be really easy to see where the corner is and dial it in exactly. But if the dot itself is shining so bright and like on a corner, on a small corner, the dot, the light from the laser is covering up a big portion of it because it is bright. It's harder to see if you're exactly at that corner piece. And the closer you are to those corners, the better aligned you're gonna be. So for steps, if you have induction sensors, then you don't really need to do it this way. But if you don't, then $10 equals 0. Go to your start point, jog manually to your start point. Under user origin, you can set you manually set your 0, 0 coordinate using the G code that I told you. Enter in the console, then select user origin. Then run your project. So let's say you have an engraving, and then the second part is a cut. So run your engraving. It finishes. Then you want to use the print and cut tool. You can, if you move your material, this is where it comes in handy. So let's just continue because now we're at that step. So now I can move my material. So moved my material. So now things should be, like if I tried to run it again, it would be off by however many millimeters I moved it. But we're gonna hit the print and cut tool. We're gonna hit the print and cut tool, start the wizard. We are gonna select our first point. We're gonna test fire the laser, dip switch 1, 0.25%. If you don't want it to mark up your material, I'm gonna click fire, and I'm gonna manually move it to my first point. And I'm gonna try to be as accurate as possible, but obviously the bigger your project, the easier it's gonna be to visually line this up. So I'm gonna really try and take my time here, so I can really line that up. I think that's pretty good. So I'm gonna set first target point. I am then gonna go to my second target point, and I'm gonna select that. And then I'm gonna jog, get pretty close, and then lower the distance and try to dial it in. Okay. All right, I feel like I'm pretty close. I'm gonna select set second target point. We have the blue circle, we have the red circle. Dana, thank you so much. Appreciate you. You're the best. Guys, if you ever need more in-depth tutorials, definitely check out Dana's YouTube channel, Bucky's Customs. He has a long mill, he should have the Vortex, and he should have the LaserBeam, and he does projects. Check out his Instagram. Definitely an amazing resource. Most of you guys know how helpful Dana has been in our community. So definitely support him on social media. Check out his YouTube channel, check out his Instagram, and show him some love because he shows our community so much love. So you have a good evening, Dana. Take it easy. So back to this. Got our blue circle, red circle. That's how you know you did the lining up correctly in the wizard. And then now we're just going to click Align Outputs, No Scaling, or we're going to turn off the fire. And then we're going to click Align Outputs, No Scaling. You see that it says Print and Cut, Unscaled. That's how you know that you did everything correctly, because that wouldn't be here, and then it automatically changes to absolute coordinates. And then we should be able to just start. And nope, did not work. All right, we got to try it one more time. I think it's because we didn't do user coordinates or user origin first. I think that's the only difference in what we did. So I think I know what I did wrong. So we should be able to quickly remedy that situation and get something that works before we go. All right, I'm gonna try to speed run this one. So hopefully you guys are paying attention. So I moved it to the place I want to start. Go to console. I am pasting in G92 space X0 space Y0, manually setting the 00 coordinates. Then I'm going to move. I'm going to user origin, and I'm setting origin. Then I am running the project. So hopefully I did everything in the right order. Essentially, I'm gonna have to go back into the stream to the one time I did it correctly, and then take that clip, and then we can we can promote that clip, or we can clip that up so you guys can have something, or I can also write the instructions based off the one successful time we ran it. Hopefully we get 2 successful times with either this one Or worst case, I'm gonna try it one more time if this one doesn't work, but then I'm gonna call it after that. We are not done with this feature. I wanna get so comfortable with this feature. And then the true test is we're gonna try to engrave something, move it, and then we're gonna try to cut that engraving out. And then we're gonna see how well we can align things. So we are almost done. All right. So we are going to move it. And then we are going to test fire so that we can, oh, first we are going to print and cut. I'm going to reset the print and cut. So let's select our first point here. Let's test fire. Let's manually move it to that point. All right, I'm going to set the first point. See the red circle. Then I'm going to select the second point, and I'm going to jog over there. All right, I'm going to turn off the fire. I'm going to set the second target point. I'm going to align outputs, scroll out here, and then I'm going to start it. Okay, it doesn't want to fire. All right. We're going to try one more time. I'm sorry, guys, this might feel repetitive, but until we can kind of lock down the workflow, let's just start it one more time. And then if it doesn't work, then we are going to come back. I'm going to rewatch the stream. I'm going to write down the instructions on the one time it did work, what everything was set at, and I'm going to do exactly that for the next stream so that we can speed along next time. And I can show you something more useful. I know, I feel like I'm haunted right now. This print and cut tool is haunting me right now. All right. So first I'm resetting this. Then I'm going to user origin. I am going to console. I am pasting this. I'm going to move. I am setting origin point. And then I am running the file. I know it's just going to be like the order of which I'm doing certain things is messing things up. I'm hoping that's awesome to hear, Eric. That was the goal when we first started it. We just wanted to build a community. And in a community, you give everybody the benefit of the doubt and you really truly do try to help to the best of your abilities, because if you ever need help, that's what you're going to want from the rest of the community. And I feel like we've built something pretty great on our Facebook, our forum, and even this live stream. So thanks, Eric, for joining it. Thanks, for Eric, for appreciating it. We appreciate you. All right. I am moving it. I am starting the print and cut tool. I am selecting our bottom point here. I'm using the test fire, and I'm manually lining things up. Oh, I don't even know what happened here. I think I might have pressed home. I think that's what's happening. I'm pressing home. And we're just going to start that back up, and hopefully that didn't mess anything up. Oh. All right, setting that as the first point. All right, setting that as the second point. Line outputs, and all right. Doesn't want to run. So there's definitely some more testing. I really want to get really familiar with this tool to the point where I can write an instruction set for you guys, so you guys can use it, or I can make just like, we can cut together a tutorial. But until I get it, I don't really want to put something together until I understand it correctly and I can replicate the results over and over and over and over again. After I watch this stream back, I should be able to kind of point out where I went wrong and figure out the one workflow that works. So hopefully I can give you guys that for the next stream. But I want to thank you guys for being very patient and enjoying the process, because it is a little bit of a process. And that's why we test everything. That's why we try to test everything, and we try to troubleshoot when stuff doesn't go our way, and we try to figure it all out. That is what this stream is about. I used to think it's about creating cool projects for you guys, but actually what it's about trying and failing, and trying and succeeding, and then trying and failing, and trying and succeeding, and trying and failing. It's about that workflow. You guys have seen me do it. We've made some really cool stuff, and we've messed up a lot. And that is the point of this live stream. I'm going through the exact same things that you guys are going through. And obviously, if you wanted me to engrave a coaster, I could do that very well. I could do that without messing up. I could do that. I could show you guys that. But I think in year 2, because we've done, we passed year 1, year 2 is all about pushing ourselves with all the cool features that LightBurn has to offer, so that we can kind of elevate our design game and we want to be able to cut and engrave anything that comes to our mind. And in order to do that, we have to get really familiar with the more advanced tools of the software. And that's what this year is all about. So thank you so much. Koala, part of life. Doug, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hans says very informative, and thank you. Eric says it's not a failure if you learn from it. Exactly. Sandra, thank you, thank you, thank you. That is the true measure of learning. That's what Sandra says. Doug says that's what keeps him coming back for more. Koala says I'm the best. Oh, thank you. You're too sweet. You're too sweet. I appreciate it. Harlow, you're actually right. We did use a box last time, but I just wanted to use a test fill, so that might be what we need to go back to. Yeah, definitely. Harlow, thanks for the notes. Guys, you know the deal. You know the deal. My name is Ikenna Ofoha. This is LaserBeam Live, episode number 27. And whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope you join us in 2 weeks, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for LaserBeam Live, episode number 28, where we will continue to test this tool, but we will be testing it on a MK2. I've had this machine and used it for testing for about 3.5 years. And I'm finally upgrading to an MK2 with induction sensors. So I'm very excited for that. And I'm very excited to join you guys again because you guys make it all worth it. So have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I will catch you in 2 weeks on the next LaserBeam Live. Goodbye.